Hello everyone, welcome back to another Should You Skip video. This time we're gonna go over Sara Kujou. Disclaimer, I actually think she's really cool. I think her playstyle is gonna be really awesome. But I am making this video to talk about the cons so that people who are indecisive about pulling for Sara Kujou can have more information to make a better decision for their accounts and their happiness. I have another video, 5 reasons why you should pull for Sara, that talks about the advantages of her kit and playstyle and all of the goodness that you are looking for. However, for the sake of completeness, we can't just look at pros, we gotta look at cons as well, because when you fully understand a character, then you can make the best decision for your account. So let's get right into it. 5 reasons why you should skip Sara Kujou. Reason 1. She is constellation gated. Now most characters are, don't get me wrong, but I really do mean that Sara is capable of all 3 main roles, that being a support, a sub DPS, and a main DPS. However, to achieve all 3 roles, she has to get into her constellations. Most people are eyeing Sara as an Electro Support buff character, but guess what? You don't get that cool, awesome bonus until you hit C6. Until then, you get a nice attack boost for a certain amount of time. Sure, if you hit her traps or you hit her burst, that's it. For her playstyle, she gets things that will decrease her cooldown and spreading of her traps, which increases her DPS dramatically, which makes her a better main DPS. But you need to get constellations to do that. So, while you can do a lot of things with Sara Kujou, her full potential is really locked behind literally every single constellation. And what I mean by that is that once you start unlocking a lot of these constellations, you'll start to see a really big impact. It's not just you unlock 1 out of the 6 and she's gonna be amazing, right? Sara Kujou goes from being a pretty alright character to being a pretty freaking amazing character once she unlocks all of her constellations. Okay, let's move on to reason 2. I went over this in my last skip video, which is the Baal video, talking about the Electro element. Now, Electro as an element is fine, it's actually my favorite element in the game. However, Electro element reactions are terrible. By terrible, it's a comparative thing. I'm not saying it's trash overall, I'm saying compared to every other element in this game, Electro is the most underwhelming due to the statistical nature of how it works, the math behind it. I want to go into more detail, but I will not do it in this video. I will make a different video, and once that video is out, I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the description or comments below, or you can be notified whenever it comes out by subscribing to this channel and clicking on the notification bell next to the subscription button, so that way you'll never miss it when it drops. And yes, I hear you, Crystallize is worse, but it's not worse because it's not a damage reaction, so we're not comparing it with every other elemental reaction. It's a defensive reaction, and it can save your life sometimes, so it has uses, and it's the unique reaction of giving you a barrier. No other element can do that yet. Now, there's one thing I haven't talked about yet, and that is Electro Resonance, meaning having 2 or more Electro characters in the same party. The Electro Resonance gives you energy particles whenever you perform an Electro reaction, like Overload, Superconduct, Electro Charge. This can be really good in very rare situations where maybe a passive procs off of energy particles, or you just run a team full of 80 energy cost people. But we gotta ask if the trade-off is worth it. Having 2 Electro characters when the Electro reactions itself are not great, they're underwhelming comparative to everything else, that's a little bit of a, do I really want to do that? Because now you gotta invest more to clear the same amount of content as having a different party composition. The other thing about that too is the case for energy generation. Once you get to mid to late game, so adventurer rank 45 and up, I don't know if you ever need Electro reaction to make energy unless you're in a specific domain that restricts energy generation in some way or another. I really just don't see a need for extra energy particles outside of what you can already make once you start building your characters with decent artifacts that have energy recharge. So yeah, I don't like that Sara not only is an Electro support for Electro damage, right? Her Constellation 6 gives 60% crit to any allies that are buffed by her unique attack buff that applies only to Electro damage attacks. So now, not only are you running 2 Electro characters having to deal with subpar elemental reactions, but you also have a passive resonance that isn't really even that good, especially if you compare it to like Pyro, Cryo, and an Anemo. Those are just way better. And moving back a little bit, I feel bad for Hydro, because Hydro actually has probably the worst resonance out of everybody here. Geo at least is great if you have a Geo DPS. It's straight up busted for Geo teams. Look man, I'm a Zhongli main. Can't say. Physical damage Zhongli with a Geo resonance is pretty crazy damage for his Geo part, especially when you don't even build for Geo. So yeah. Reason 3. Please don't take this the wrong way. I'm gonna elaborate, so hang tight. Outside of having multiple ways to play, Sara Kujou seems to have an affinity or focus on charge shots. Okay, what's the problem, you ask? There's no problem, unless you play on a mobile phone, and your mobile phone happens to not be the strongest, and you don't like touch controls, then it becomes a problem. For me, I play on mobile, I play on consoles, I play on PC, not a problem. For those who play Genshin Impact only for mobile, keep that in mind. You don't need Sara to be using charge attacks to play as her. But to get the most out of her, you're going to utilize charge shots here and there, just because that's how her kit seems to be designed, for her to weave in between her elemental skill, elemental burst, which is an 80 energy cost elemental burst. In between those two things, you're going to be using your charge shot, and her kit even reduces the charge time of her charge shot by 60% right after she uses her elemental skill. I honestly think Sara mains are going to be in for a treat with this one, because now she has multiple ways to play, and that's really awesome, especially for my epic Teyvat Genshin Machinima series. Characters that have a bigger kit to play with are always fun for me to choreograph fights for. In fact, you're probably seeing some of the choreographed fights in the video right now. So if what you're seeing is interesting to you and it's cool looking, definitely give epic Teyvat a shot by going to the playlist in the descriptions or comments below. We have 2 seasons going on right now, and a big story arc coming right up that will involve Sara and Baal in a huge way. So stay tuned, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and sit tight, because it's gonna be epic. Oh god, I can't believe I tried that. Okay, reason 4. She's a 4-star character. You see what I did there? Reason 4, 4-star character. Well, you can't win them all, so back to the topic. She is a 4-star character, meaning that if the 5-star character that is also appearing with her in the banner that she's in is someone that you don't want or don't care for, be patient, wait. 4-star characters will rotate around much quicker than 5-star characters, so there'll be many chances for you to pull for Sara Kujou if it's not this time. So, don't feel pressured to get her right now. There will be plenty of chances in the future. Genshin Impact is a long game. Don't worry about it. Reason 5. I will always say this as a reason because I feel like it's important to remind certain individuals that Genshin Impact is a game you play for fun. Doesn't matter what the meta is. Doesn't matter if Sara Kujou becomes best character ever. If you don't like who she is, how she looks, if she doesn't resonate with you, don't pull her. Don't play her because you gotta. Play her because you want to. You won't enjoy your time playing Genshin Impact or any game really if you don't resonate with what you're doing. So listen to your gut. The main reason I make these videos is straight up just that. I'm just here to educate, to remind, to ask you questions so that way you can ask yourself what it is you truly want. That's the important thing. I'm just a stranger on the internet, but I do know what it feels like to have buyer's remorse, and I don't want anyone to really go through that. So that's why I make these videos. You know, people can give me all the hate they want. I appreciate it all the same, all the comments, all the dislikes. I try to understand where people are coming from and try to use it to make my content better. And hey, you know what? At the end of the day, we're all Genshin fans. We want this game to be successful, of course, and we want the community to thrive. We want to have fun together, and we want to make sure our free-to-play players or low spenders or people who are on a budget are able to make wise decisions with their primogems, so that way they don't end up pulling for somebody they end up hating, not feeling motivated to play the game, quit, and then lose out on an awesome member of the Genshin community. So yeah, that's 5 reasons why you should skip Sara Kujou. I'm not telling you to skip her, I'm just giving you reasons that you should think about before pulling for her.